Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long, and with me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I am okay, Charles.
Are you ready
How are
to
you?
pitch a television show?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good.
I got a new show for you.
Uh-huh.
It's called, Hello, It's Me.
Margaret. Hello, God. It's me, Margaret.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having my period.
Yep.
Come on.
Well, I don't know what you're referencing or if you're just going insane here.
You don't know that book?
I was referencing the Adele song. Hey, Charles, what's your pitch today?
Oh, my pitch is a show called Oxygen is Overrated. I wanted to...
Oxygen is overrated?
Yeah,
What?
It's silly. You don't need oxygen to live.
I think it's fairly rated.
Well, then, you don't know these guys, because this is a show about... It's a space sitcom about a group of friends. Why can't I talk? What the fuck is happening?
Group of friends, not fens.
It's a space sitcom about a group of friends that went to virtual school together and decide to get a flat together before ever meeting each other in person.
Poor decision.
Yeah, of course, as always. And the way that this future works, because it's set in the year 2946, the way that the future works is that there are so many people that civilian spaceships have been created that just like have cheap, affordable housing, and they just basically do an orbit around the planet or around the sun, right? So you just have like this ship that can hold like 500 million people, and you rent low cost housing inside the ship to all these people. So their job is basically just to live. Like nobody really has jobs. Because computers do everything for them. So it's just kind of like they have jobs, but they're very much like silly, stupid jobs. Like one of the characters, Kylo, his job is shoelace measurer. So every shoelace on the ship, he has to measure it to make sure it's appropriate length.
Yep.
Right?
If they're not, he has to get them new ones.
He burns them. But they're all made by computers, so they're all perfect length.
Yep.
But, and this is a very, very distant universe than the ones that we have. And I wanted to go back to our roots and pitch a sitcom about some wacky characters, and they're in space, and they're doing stuff. And so there are 3 planets in this galaxy that sustained human life. There's Earth, which has kind of devolved into this crazy, weird wonderland. It's like, the only people who live on Earth are like Amish people and like crazy nomads. So all Earth cultures are just the weirdest part of every culture kind of mushed into one. So the Earth people kind of get the reputation of being very odd, strange people. Then there's the Venetians. They live on Venice. Venus. They don't live in Venice. They live on Venus. And that's kind of the utopian civilization. It's kind of like Star Trek. But these guys have a reputation for being really up their own ass, as all people living in a utopian society would be. Right? Mm-hmm. They're just very full of themselves and very confident that their way of life is the best way of life. And they're all about like body modifications, but not like overt body modifications. Like they don't have wires sticking out of them because they're very much about maintaining pure human like DNA, but they have all sorts of like weird genetic changes that they've done to themselves. So it's like, everybody is, a 7-foot tall, beautiful, statuesque person.
I see. So body modifications genetically, not robotically.
Yeah, not robotically. That happens at the Neutronians. They live on Neptune. And they are much more of the weird kind of cyberpunk sci-fi Star Wars kind of idea, where their culture is kind of a mismatch of different, things, but it's all spacefaring and it's very science fiction-y, right?
Yeah, it's really cold too.
It's very cold in Neptune.
I wear a big coat on Neptune.
I gotta wear at least one big coat, and those thick wool socks, hand warmers, long johns, the whole thing. And then the last culture,
good skiing though,
that exists. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful place. And you could get a great look at Uranus from it. The fourth culture that exists in this universe they're goners, right? That's their title. That's what everyone calls them, but they're just pirates. So it's like all of the outcasts from all of these different civilizations, come together, and they just like raid civilian ships and like trading ships and stuff. And so our show would be about all of about 5 characters living on this ship, and they've all got like a bunch of free time, and so they're just getting into funny adventures. They're just getting into silly, goofy adventures. So our first character, he's a Neutronian. He's from Neptune. He's self-centered, and but also self-loathing. His name is Kylo. I mentioned him before.
Kylo Ren?
Yeah, Kylo Ren. He is not a Venetian, but he's kind of like a Venetian weeaboo. Like, he wants to be all about the Venetian culture. So he, regularly gets injected with stem cell stuff, so he can have his, DNA rewritten. But he's, he's like one of those guys who wants to be a big tattoo person, but he doesn't have a lot of money, so he can only get, like, one tattoo at a time. So, like, one episode, he'll get his eye color changed, and then, like, 3 episodes later, he'll get his teeth, like, straightened, Mm-hmm. So he's not a perfect-looking person, but he's trying to be, and he's self-loathing because he, is constantly trying to change the way that he looks. But he's also very much, the world revolves around me, and I'm very important. That's Kylo. And then our first Earthling, the Earthicans, his name is Sheep, and he is curious.
Sheep?
Yeah, his name's Sheep. He's curious, loud, and rude by accident. He doesn't mean to say rude things, but he's not very much. He doesn't pick up on social cues very well, because he was raised on Earth in a cult where everyone's name was the name of an extinct animal. Right?
Oh, there's no sheep left?
There's no sheep. I think in this universe there's no animals. Like, all of the meat is grown. Like, there's really, most animals are extinct except for, like, monkeys, because they're kept as pets.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
I like the grown animal thing. That's cool, too, because that's kind of realistic. Grown meat thing. But just because this seems kind of weird, maybe there's, like, a everything animal.
Oh, yeah. That would be good.
Like, it's got cow beef in it. It's got chicken. It's pork. Mm-hmm. One animal. You kill it. Different sections of it. Sort of like how different sections of a cow are different cuts of, steak.
But it's
like
just
sirloin or whatever.
Species.
But it's like literally like this part's chicken. This part's a cow.
This part's crab.
This part's crab.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I like that. And
it could just be really messed up looking.
Mm-hmm. Real gross and creepy. Right, because one of the things about this ship is that they get dehydrated food supply once a month, and it comes in just this cardboard box, and it's enough, like one cardboard box, and it's enough food for the 500 million people who live on the ship. Right?
Is it because it's desaturated?
Yeah, it's dehydrated. It's all like little crackers, So
nice.
Yeah, and they just like slide it in, and it's like it becomes all of the food that they need. So maybe like it can be a fun thing where one episode they get the, Oliphant, because it's all the animals. It's an Oliphant, and like a trader stops by the citizenship, because this ship is so cheap because it takes the longest route around the sun. So, like, one rotation on this ship, like 1 year of paying to live there is approximately 6 Earth years.
Oh,
because,
that's cool.
Time moves differently, and it's just very odd and very cheap. But maybe in one of the episodes, like a sort of snake oil salesman or like a farmer's market rolls up, into the citizenship, and you get to see the Oliphant, and they like, maybe our next character could, like, he takes a baby and he raises it because he loves it and he doesn't want it to be eaten. Our next character, he is a Venetian. He is named Hat, H-A-T. He is blissfully unaware. He's kind but naive, and he comes from a family of artists, but he wants to be an advertising man.
Same.
Yes, I was trying to think of what's the most artistically corrupt profession that you could possibly get into. Advertising. So, you know, he wants to go against what his family brought him up on. And he's very nice. Like, the thing I get about Hat, and I'm calling all of these guys he just because I haven't really picked a gender out, but they could definitely be different genders. Hat is kind of bliss. He doesn't understand how cutthroat the advertising world is and how just cruel it is, you know, because advertising is one of the, you know, I would say one of the professions that gives you the least amount of respect for humanity.
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand that yet. Like, he still, like, likes people and stuff. All right. Our fourth character is Ka. That's K-A. A exclamation point. And they're a down-to-earth
I like this one.
person. They're Earthling. They're from Earth, but they're also very down-to-earth and humble. They're kind of tentative and, like, a little, you know, meek, but they're trying to find love. They want to find someone to spend the rest of their life with. So that's where...
on their ship.
Yeah, on the ship with people. 500 million people, you could probably find somebody, right?
Yeah, probably someone. At least one person.
And our last character, he is a Neutronian.
That'd be a funny joke if, like, one episode he went to like a dating. Maybe there's like a human dating like counselor or something.
Thing, yeah.
It's like a person that's like a matchmaker. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he gets to the matchmaker and he's like, all right, I'm tired of, you know, just going in the bars and trying to find a girl. I need you to set me up with someone. Mm-hmm. And it like skips ahead a few hours, and the matchmaker, she's like, there's no one. I've looked. There's not a single person. He's like, there's 500 million people on this ship. Is there no one? What do you mean there's no one? It's like, there's not. You'll never find love. There's not a single person.
And our last character is a Neutronian. His name is 42. He is a know-it-all ultra cyborg with an ego to match. So where Kylo is all about like maintaining, you know, natural human beauty, 42 is the exact opposite. He's all about like getting all sorts of teched out, right? Like all the tech they could possibly get on him, and he's like each you know, piece of technology, I become cooler and better and smarter and more handsome. And
are they going to be like disgusted of each other?
I think they are like they're like the two friends in the group that like they don't hang out to just the two of them. They always hang out with like one of the other people, and they just kind of they blend well if it's the whole group. But if it's just the two of them, they probably just get into arguments and fights all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has a little plant that he's trying to keep alive on his ship.
Is that special?
He's just got a little plant. You know, it's not even...
Is there like no little plants on the ship, or is this just he's just got plant guy?
Yeah, I think that there's no... Like, you're allowed to have plants, but like seeds are really expensive and hard to get. Mm-hmm. And so he doesn't... It's not very normal, but he, being the ultra cyborg, it's weird that he's so invested in keeping a plant. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So yeah, those are the characters and the setup, and obviously, you know, it's a sitcom, so each episode you would have an A plot and a B plot, where we pair off certain characters with one another to do, you know, a fun thing. Like I have Hat, Kylo, and 42 starting a business together. selling shredders, but they don't know what shredders are. Like, paper hasn't been used in centuries. Everything's digital. So they just, like, they find this old word in a dictionary, shredder, and they each come up with their own version of what a shredder is. And then they try and sell that.
Oh my god.
And it's like, you know, this goofy fucking thing. And then Kylo and Sheep, or no, it's not Kylo. Ka and Sheep try and get their pilot's licenses together. You know, just hilarity ensues. Comedy is abound, you know, doing flips and shit.
Maybe the flying thing, they can't actually get into a real ship, so they go into like a virtual thing. But we as the audience don't know that.
Yeah. So we just see
and so
them.
we get like a crazy Top Gun sequence where who is it again? Ka
and Sheep. Yeah.
Okay, Sheep is like essentially Maverick in the first Top Gun movie, and Ka is what's his name? Duck? Boat? What's the guy that dies in Top Gun?
Goose.
Goose, that's it. And we have like a dramatic scene where Ka dies, and Sheep's like, no. He's like freaking out.
Take me.
And that's when the simulation like pops off their head, and the instructor's like, you guys failed awfully. That was horrendous.
You're really bad.
All you had to do was land. This was the landing test. I don't know what you did. You went completely off grid.
You got in a dogfight with Russians? What? Doesn't make any sense.
I didn't even know that was possible.
You know. Yeah, definitely. That's fun. I like that. And then, you know, it could end with them getting in a ship. Like, they finally, you know, pass their pilot's license. They get the license. And they, like, sneak down into, like, the museum. The, like, aviation museum that they have on the ship. And they try and, like, start up an old World War II plane. And they're, like, flying it. And it's, you know, obviously it's inside. So it, like, just busts through like, the floor and destroys their shredder business. Just as they were, like, all getting, like,
they
complaints.
Finally figured out how to
or it's just like shit's about to hit the fan, and then a plane flies through the wall and destroys it all. And I'm like, okay. This is the best way this could have ended.
That kind of makes me think, I don't know what you have planned for like a season arc, or if you have one.
I have one,
but I think it'd be
idea.
Okay.
But you because it's kind of like the last 5 minutes of the last episode of the season.
Okay. Well, maybe for all the episodes you can play it like Seinfeld does, where there's never any progress.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all exactly the same. All their dreams fail. The relationships always fail. Everything's a failure, and they always end up back in the diner, meeting place.
And there's a diner or something. It doesn't have to be a diner. A bar.
Bars are better.
Foosball.
Cantina.
There you go. With a robot butler, and he's doing all sorts of stuff.
His name's Beep Boop.
Beep Boop. Exactly.
Beep Boop the goldfish.
So another idea for an episode I have is, you know how overseas Americans will have it, like American college students overseas will have like Thanksgivings, and they'll all invite their friends, and it'll be like kind of a meeting of two cultures, right? So that idea, but it's like
the first one.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah, exactly. Supposedly. Like that, but it's Sheep and Ka introducing Earth culture to all of their friends. But it's very strange and weird, and there's lots of like little differences that they argue about. And like the episode that would be the A plot is like Ka and Sheep setting up this huge, crazy, elaborate like party thing that's happening, and then 42 Kylo and Hat are they're going to the gym, and that's it. They're going to the gym, and they're all none of them are Earthlings, so they're not really used to the gravity in the same way, so they're like really fucked up by how heavy the weights are and everything. And they're like, why would I do this when I can just go get some gene splicing done and have a six-pack?
Because that's just cosmetic. You don't actually have the strength of a six-pack.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what they'll be saying. They'll, start doing sit-ups and everything.
That just molds your fat in a particular way so it looks like muscles.
Yeah. Hey, man, if it works, it works. Am I right? No. No, I'm not. Yeah, so they're hitting the gym and they're getting big, and there's like all sorts of shenanigans that ensue. I don't have very many episode ideas specifically. The last episode I have is 42, and sheep participate in a spelling bee, but it's all like crazy weird words, and then like the final word is like a very simple English word, and they're like, oh my god, I don't know how to spell participate.
Per P-E-R.
Yeah,
per
P-E-A-R
T-I-K
taint.
Eight. Participate.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
E-I-G-H-T. Participate.
You got it. You got there in the end.
Yeah.
And Kylo, Ka, and Hat participate in a dog fighting ring.
Huh?
But it's robot dogs, so it's okay.
Oh, okay.
But they look exactly like a real dog, so it doesn't look okay. But maybe Hat is Kylo is constantly reassuring his friends that it's all perfectly morally fine because they're all robots. That robot sounds like it's crying. It's a very well-programmed robot.
Yes. Maybe one of them has a severe gambling problem. That's how they get into it in the first place.
Yeah, and it ends with all three of them walk in on somebody having sex with a robot dog, and the guy who's having sex with a robot dog is like, why? It's not even illegal. It's fine. It's a robot. It's not even a big deal. But it's like, it's...
And the gambler's like, I don't think I want to gamble anymore.
I don't want to be any part of this anymore. And they close the door, and they all walk to the bar. The spelling bee, they lost. They didn't get the word participate right. We could think of a funnier word. They didn't get the word...
Beer.
They didn't get the word beer. They didn't spell it right. And so they both lost to like 2 8-year-olds. And, they were humiliated in front of everyone. Then we can like show the 8-year-olds walking past with the supermodels that like Sheep and 42 were talking up.
Yeah, and they'll be like, at least we can order a beer. And the little kids go up to the bar and they order a beer.
Yeah.
And like, oh.
And he's
like, yeah, the
He's not. He's actually 86. He just he's got a disorder.
The Benjamin Button sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, oh, that explains it.
Well, then that explains why he's so good at spelling.
He wrote the dictionary, actually.
Yeah. So, before I spring the final season 1 ending on you, do you have any ideas for episodes that we could do?
I think there's a lot of fodder for relationship failures.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, I agree.
And the menial jobs could really be great. We could really delve into the menial workload in the ship and see like everyone's terrible little weird job that they have. The shoelace measuring, I like that.
Shoelace measuring.
We could have a pencil sharpener guy.
He's the eyelash like inspector. Just all these people who like the point of the job is because these people cannot function without being told what to do. So it's just busy work.
You need some sort of purpose in life.
Yeah,
right?
you need. It's like boomers. They need to work till they're dead. It's that sort of idea. Yeah, we could have like somebody who their whole job is like, because I imagine that it's like a food. The way that food works is like it's a replicator, and they just get all of the raw materials from that like cardboard box of dehydrated food, right? And so just like one job, they get somebody who has to like go around and measure every food thing that comes out of the thing, and it's like, oh well, that piece of granola is not regulation size, I'm gonna have to confiscate that.
Sorry.
Like one of those things, when you like get a bag of chips and they're like stuck together, they're too stuck together, right? because they fucked up cooking it or whatever.
You want to hear some bullshit about a bag of chips?
Yes.
Sorry, you just reminded me of something. You know what I got the other day?
Sure, go for it.
I got a bag of Doritos with a single Dorito in it.
What?
A single Dorito.
That's ridiculous.
It was madness. I was floored. I should have called Doritos, but I'd probably, if I still had the bag and didn't throw it away, I'd probably have unlimited Doritos forever. But I was so appalled and upset that I threw it away.
That's ridiculous. What flavor?
Didn't even eat the single Dorito.
Good. You shouldn't have. What?
I shouldn't. It was
It was probably poison. That was probably
was.
poison.
They're probably trying to kill me, the frickin' Dorito people.
Maybe it's one of those
They probably
things.
heard about all my Doritos slander on this show.
Yeah, maybe it's like one of those, those super hot chip challenges where they just give you one chip and it's like ghost pepper jalapeno chip or whatever. Maybe it was like one of those.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I'm glad.
It was in one of those like the party packs where like you get a big bag of Doritos that has a bunch of small bags in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like big bags, small bags of Doritos. The last bag of Doritos had a single Dorito in it.
I'm gonna eat a full bag of Doritos just because I'm so mad about this.
I was appalled.
I'll have to go buy Doritos.
Pride against Doritos.
Yeah. This show, I will say this right now, this show will never, and I mean never, be sponsored by Doritos.
Unless they give us money.
I mean, unless you want to try the Doritos Locos Tacos at your local Taco Bell. On sale for a limited time only. Try it with the Baja Blast. A delicious flavor combination.
I do actually like Doritos Locos Tacos.
I love a Dorito.
Good.
I think a Dorito is like the best kind of inauthentic corn chip you can get,
I'm more of a soft shell guy, but Doritos. If you can have they do this brilliant thing at Taco Bell. They call it the double decker. As the world knows, where it's a soft shell.
Yeah.
There's stuff on the soft shell, then it's wrapped around a hard shell, and then you got the stuff in it as well. And if they listen to me, Doritos, if you're out there, team up with Taco Bell, make that hard shell in the middle a Doritos shell.
Cool
that would be
Ranch.
amazing.
It would be
because then you get the softness of the normal soft shell.
You get the fluffiness of the
but
soft
you get the
shell.
flavor of the hard shell.
The crunch. Oh, that sounds great. I might get Taco Bell later. No, I won't. I only get Taco Bell when I'm drunk and it's there. And it's raining.
You could buy the Doritos Locos Taco shells. I do that. Very good.
I'm probably going to order in tonight, but I'm not going to get Taco Bell.
Yeah, everyone just loves this conversation.
Well, I'm going to get a burger, I think. But
this isn't the let's talk about our dinner plans podcast.
Yeah.
And this certainly isn't the
Doritos Locos Tacos
Doritos Slander podcast, which we also have. Check it out, DoritosSlander.com.
Only on
Don't
Deezer.
go to that. I don't know. That's not us.
Only on Deezer.
I don't. Is that a real website? Do we ever figure that out?
Deezer is a podcast listening app. I think they're the one that we had to advertise for them in our show.
No, that's Stitcher.
Oh yeah, only on Stitcher.
We don't do Stitcher because they're like, you need to advertise, but we're not going to pay you. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
But the way the first season ends of this show, and then we'll wrap it up. But how the first season...
we're going back to the show.
Yeah.
Whoops.
There's one more final twist. So, the way the first season ends is like all of our characters, they, at the end of each episode, they keep reverting back to the status quo. And like at the beginning of this episode, there's like a crazy, emergency, and they're all trapped in like this, control room. And through, hilarious sitcom, I almost said shitcom. Hilarious sitcom shenanigans. They accidentally release all of the oxygen in every part of the ship except for the room that they're in.
Oh, that's why it's called.
And they kill everyone in the ship except for themselves. Like everyone and everything that was alive on the ship is now dead. Like 500 million people are all dead, and it's these 5 idiots' fault, right?
Oh my god.
And it's like, oh my god, so many dead people. And like the computers on the ship like can still run it perfectly fine, and like a cleaning robot gets rid of all the bodies by the time the oxygen refills. And then they all just like go back, and they're all in kind of like this shock. and they go to their spot, their bar, and they sit down, and it's just like the end of every other episode, where they're sitting at the bar, like, talking
There's
about
some
their
mundane
problems.
conversation, like...
But they've all got this,
I mean, why is toothpaste
why is
a cream?
Why is it a cream? Why is it, like, so viscous? Don't understand.
I think it should be a solid, because then it would, like, hang on your teeth, you know?
Why don't they make toothpaste into, like, a gum, and then you can just chew it? That makes way more sense than having food.
Yeah, I should
That's
do that.
ridiculous.
Roll credits.
But, like, they've just killed 500 million people.
Yeah.
And then, like, if this show's good enough, we can do a second season where it's them having their adventures, but they're all like, they're sitcom shenanigans, but they're also all slowly going insane because they're the only people on this enormous ship, and so they're just, like, having to find ways to amuse themselves.
Yeah, and they're having, like, adventures with, like, fake people. Like, there's a broom propped up, and they're like, "Oh, Margaret, you're so silly."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's how I want this show to end. The first season to end. Like a very funny, silly, space sitcom that ends on this horribly dark note, which I think is just fun.
But then ends super casually.
Yeah.
With just them at the bar.
It's like if you just run over like a dog and then like got out of your car and like tossed the keys to a valet and be like, don't scratch the paint. Just completely ignoring the horrible thing you just did. Yeah. But that's been my show. Oxygen is overrated. Thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I have been your host, Charles Long. With me has always been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Any number one of those things would be good. Do it. Love it. Kiss it. Have a good day and be safe out there, my beautiful children. Goodbye.